Okay, the next item on the agenda is superintendent's recommendations and reports. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Birding. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Martin to cover the items listed under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Birding and members of the board, I have the following items for your consideration this evening under Personnel Professional. Item 1, resignation, letter A. Item 2, extracurricular resignations for the current school year, letters A through D. Item 3, unpaid leaves of absence, letters A through D. Item 4, employment, letter A, extracurriculars for the current school year, letter B, Saturday school, letter C, substitute teachers, letter D, reading math tutor. This tutor will work at Sacred Heart, one of our non-publics. And then letter E, an EL tutor for the 2021 school year. That concludes the items I have for your consideration this evening under Personnel Professional.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept those recommendations.
So moved.
I heard Mr. Clark and then Mrs. Gundrum. Any questions or comments? All right. Mrs. Lamy, call the roll, please.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes, motion passes.
This time, I'd like to ask Mr. Penny to cover the items listed under Personnel Support.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Birding, members of the board, I have the following items for your consideration this evening under personnel support. Under item number 1, resignations, letter A. Under item number 2, unpaid leaves of absence, letters A through D. Under item number 3, employment, letters A through F. And this concludes the items I have for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept those recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Heard Mr. Begley and Mrs. Gundrum. Any comments or questions? All right, Mrs. Lamy, you call the roll, please.
Mr. Begley?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Birding?
Yes, motion passes.